Good evening, everyone. എല്ലാവരും മലയാളത്തിൽ സംസാരിച്ചു. ഹായ് ചെല്ലോ. എനിക്ക് മനസ്സിലായി. പക്ഷേ ഒരു ടോക്കിംഗ് അബൌട്ട് എ സബ്ജക്ട് എനിക്ക് മലയാളത്തിൽ സംസാരിക്കാൻ കിട്ടില്ല. So I'll speak in English. Wonderful to be here, as always. Kerala, God's own country. But thank God, God is not much into politics here. Well, it's an honor to be here on the stage, and especially today, as we celebrate 50 golden, glorious years of this meaningful journey of DC Books. My heart is filled with gratitude to the ever-inspiring spirit of Padma Bhushana DC Kizhakemuri, a legendary publisher, a writer, a social reformer who has inspired generations with his love for the country, with the path he took, and to what he stood for. And as we stand at this juncture, I am indebted to him for giving me this moment, this stage, to continue to express what is relevant without fear, as he did. And coming to this moment, I stand before you as a fellow human being, a citizen of this country, and yes, as an artist. I express from what I see, what I understand, what I perceive. That's what an actor or an artist should do. And strangely, they tell me that you're a very talented actor. You're gifted with a lot of talent and you do your job well. So why don't you talk about beautiful things? About literature, about poetry, about the beautiful world, the rivers, but what to do? I can speak only what I see. And today I see blood in the streets. Fear lurching at the corners, in the shadows. And I see my fellow human beings suffering. And I'm hurt and anguished. I can only talk about that. So I ask questions, just asking to find out why is this ecosystem here today? What is the reason and who is behind it? Because I have not grown only because of my talent. I have grown because of the love of the fellow human beings and their trust. And as an artist, I owe to them. Because I always say, the wounds inflicted on our body may bleed less, may heal with our silence. But the wounds inflicted on our society will bleed more, will become worse with our silence. So I don't want to be silent. And that's why I started just asking. And coming here and today evening, they're going to relay an interesting interview of me, which happened a few days back, from a channel which belongs to you know who, them. They asked me to come and have a one-on-one interview, and so I went. Because I believe that I have to have conversation with them only. So I was ready for their questions. But I was surprised when I went into the channel. They said, "You're going to have a program. It's going to be Aaj Ki Adalat." and there'll be a lot of people who will be questioning you. I said, fair enough. Can I see them? I said, sir, get ready. Let us get into the studio. I had a feeling they were trying to get me into a trap. I went there and I saw 30 odd people sitting with all the kavis. And I said, who are they? They said, sir, they come from different political parties and different walks of life, and they have a lot of questions. I said, they don't look like coming from different political parties. And I looked at them and I said, I'm happy you're here. We'll actually talk to you. Because in this event here or in any of the programs I go, I talk to people who know me and who we both are think the similar, but I actually wanted to talk to them. And I said, yes, start. And one among them said, sir, even I am here. I said, I can't see you in the light, please come. And I realized he was the guy who had announced on Facebook video that he is going to kill me. He had threatened me. I said, you are the most important person. Please come in front. I want to talk to you. I had a conversation with them. They said, what are you? Which ideology do you follow? Left, extreme left, center? I said, that is none of your problem. I am against you. Let's talk. So they had all questions. They had the chaiwala question. I said, why did you bring a Malayali chaiwala? I said, I was not hurting anybody's sentiments because I knew that when I say chaiwala, you will understand a different chaiwala. My problem is when ISRO launches it and it is successful, your chaiwala will come and take credit for it. So I thought I'll introduce my Malayali chaiwala before that. It's an old joke. They were not ready to understand that. It went on and he said, why are you against our dharma? I said, I'm not against your dharma. I don't even have time for your dharma. I'm only interested in human life. So what are we doing? I said, no, you did a homa in the parliament. I'm not very comfortable with it. Because your leader, before coming to the parliament, before inaugurating, can do any homa in his house. It's none of my business. But the parliament building is ours. You can't do it there. You're not supposed to do it there. So whenever I talk like this, whenever I am on social media like this, where I send messages, I receive an average of, bashings and also praises. It's equal. And my friends who want me to be good, want me to be happy, tell me, why do you do this? Stick to your profession. Think about your career. Why are you inviting unnecessary, hatred and threats and fear? I understand fully their love for me. I understand their concern. But in my opinion, the future of this country is more important than an individual's career. I believe in it. I really truly believe in it. This expression of views is a fundamental right in any democracy. And that is the only thing which will help to build a strong country. I believe that the country, to progress and prosper, it is extremely essential that citizens express their thoughts and their views publicly. Because I always believed in a quote, evil prevails only when good men fail to act. This is not a new thought. This has been here. Not something new I am saying, First of all, we have to see history. It's there in this history. People talk, artists talk. Now, why is so history important? It's a very complicated expression, but history is much more than the facts and figures and the stories. There are wounds in history which we should not forget. Those are the wounds we should never forget because there are lessons in that. So now I have started a theatre group called Nirdiganta. I have a incubator where I do plays. In my farm, I've created an incubator where I bring in a lot of these youngsters, keep them busy, a lot of theatre actors who want to become something. And I said, we discussed, and what do we talk to people today? I said, we should remember the wounds, because wounds are lessons. We need to go back. I'm not reimagining India, reimagining the future. I'm reimagining, thinking that if this continues, where will we go? It's very easy to, have a lot of hope and talk, but I want to talk about wounds. We need to talk about our history. An artist, literature has written, they have documented the effects of these wounds of war, of communal violence. Pirandello wrote a play, War, the First World War, where there is a lot of people traveling in a train, and there is one fellow who's talking about nationalism. But everybody have a similar pain that all their children are gone to war, are going to war, and they're going to say bye to their children. They don't know, because that is not why they brought them up. That was not the dream of those youngsters when they are going to war. And when they're sharing their pain, there's one man who still says, we give birth to children for the nation. No. And when finally confronted, he breaks down with his fake nationalism because he would have lost his son, and its pain is too much to handle. We have a great poet, a Jnanapith Award-winning poet, Kuvempu. When he reacted to the Second World War, he wrote Smashana Kurukshetra. A beautiful book, a beautiful play, where there is Kurukshetra, and a woman is searching for her son, and another woman with a small child is searching for her husband. And as they walk through the Kurukshetra, searching for their loved ones, they both meet. And they have a discussion, and the old woman asks the younger woman, whose side is your husband? And the young woman says, Pandavas. And she says, old woman, whose side is your son? She says, Kauravas. Finally, they see both their loved ones are dead, and they realize that these wars, the Kauravas and Pandavas are fighting for their land, for their money, for their women. But the common man is a victim because they fight for their pride. And who suffers? We took stories and we took the wounds of the partition of this country by Monto when he wrote Sharifan. In the rage to show their anger, to show who is supreme, Hindus rape Muslim children and Muslim rape Hindu children. And they realize finally it is their children who are going to rape. And today when you see in Manipur, these wounds tell us what has war, what has communal violence brought down. Who suffers the most? The women, the children, the future. Because these wounds are deeper than flesh. Will we not learn from it? When I see today the 16, 17-year-old youngsters in a procession brandishing swords and guns, my heart cries. Why are these kids unemployment in this country? They don't have dreams. They don't know what the future holds for them. Who brainwashed them? And why are we silent about it? When in a country, how come a teacher is emboldened to get an 8-year-old boy slapped from another community boys? Who emboldens them? And this is this the country, the future of this India, Ambedkar, Basavanna, or anybody imagined? No. History also reminds us of great decisions that led to justice and moral progress in every possible field. It's always been possible by realizing mistakes and consequently omitting the bad and changing to the new. We must receive history as it is and try to learn from them. It is clear that the society will deteriorate when citizens blindly and questioningly follow a leader or an ideology, say nationalism, like what is happening in this country today. And if you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. For when India was under British rule, there were a lot of writers and people who questioned the system, the Britishers. But after independence day, I don't know, they mellowed down, and it is the case of everywhere in the world. Unfortunately, after independence, this has happened. It's happening now and across the country. An authoritarian government will always try to infuse false nationalism and make people believe that their dignity, pride, and sense of security are being abused by the others, creating fear and feelings of exploitation. This is the chronology they work on. Because after that, it is very easy to manipulate them, to manufacture consent, to polarize. To do this, the truth is suppressed. And opposing voices, especially those of rational thinkers and intellectuals, are silenced. Now, that is when Gauri Lankesh was murdered. I said, we are not going to bury her. We are going to sow her into this earth. To tell those killers that if you silence a voice, 1,000 more louder voices will be grown, like one like me. We need to have this conversation. See, whenever the intellectuals have come up with logical ideas, concepts, or philosophies, they were often oppressed by religious leaders, ridiculed, and even, punished. You should remember the Socrates, the great philosopher of the 5th century. He was very known as a founder of the Western philosophy. He was very known to oppose the church, oppose beliefs and myths. He used to go to corners and street corners and talk to youngsters. They said, you're against the system. And they said, you have to die. And the punishment was that he was supposed to take poison. He took poison and killed himself. But he never surrendered to these forces. We see such stories too. A Galileo, an Italian astronomer of 16th century, who disproved the theory that Earth is the center and everything else revolves around it. He said, no, sun is the center. But the church was very angry because he was questioning what was devastating. And he was sent into a house arrest. And the other part is when he was in the house arrest, he was only could see outside through a window, and he saw a watchman sitting there, and he started talking to him. And many years later, that watchman became a very big astronomer. That was the fight they continued. That was the way they questioned. Fundamentalism in any religion is extremely dangerous. Even countries like China and Japan, where Buddhism was the major religion, has seen violence. Why Iraq and Syria? These are the lessons we have to learn from history, They were the centers of physics, especially optics, which led to the invention of the glasses and mathematics from the 9th century. But with the introduction of stringent religious enforcement, their communal violence, the scientific and progressive thinking has been totally forgotten. There are many examples like this, All civilizations All religions and all cultures have been through golden ages when thinkers pursued philosophical and scientific progress. Reasoning, questioning, rational thinking, and tolerance are the main ways to build a social decay and achieve moral progress. That's the only way we can halt a social decay. It should be the aim of all religions and governments to provide reforms and social justice by integrating all cultural and linguistic groups. The roots of discontent is poverty and illiteracy. These people are talking about one nation, one election. Shouldn't we talk about one nation and equal education? Shouldn't we talk about one nation and equal healthcare? No. The success. So here I am reimagining, because I need to talk about all this, not to give a rosy picture to sit and dream. Today, we are in a space where we have to take a side. There is no way we can be in between. There is no way we can be soft. If our children have to have a greater future, if we have to celebrate people who fought for our independence, for our equality, the responsibility is on us to remember that our fear is their power. We need to fearlessly stand and reimagine the future of this country, reimagine the future of our children. Love you all. Thank you all for this opportunity.